Okay, so I'm gonna edit in some screenshots, maybe, but for just in case I don't, I'm gonna go ahead and describe the situation. So basically, this would be another video of what not to do when you do the lay low to late teen thing. Basically, some girl made a post saying she needed advice because she was looking for friends or something. Basically, it sounds like she's looking for somebody to try to leave with. And it's like, why do people even want to do this partner thing so bad? Because realistically, if you're trying to leave an abuse situation, you should already know from the fact that nobody's helping you that nobody with good intentions is going to leave with you. And you have to do it on your own. I don't know why people have this idea that if they leave with some random person off the internet, that means that things are going to be easier and safer. And I know people are going to say the whole pedophile thing, but honestly, that's not even really the issue. Because, I mean, there's ways that you can prove that the person is actually your age, like calling them. But the thing is, just because somebody's your age or younger or 1 year older doesn't mean anything. Because, for one, you don't know if you're even going to like each other and get along. Two, they may have trauma symptoms that'll get you caught or get them caught and in jail, which is something that I see commonly when people did used to do this whole partner thing when the person would actually show up, because 9 times out of 10, you're never going to be able to meet up with the person and they won't even meet you halfway. But when they do, it's commonly somebody with trauma symptoms to the point where they already have a criminal record or they're about to get one, and then when they leave they start committing crimes, which gets them caught by the police and put in jail. Or they have some drug addiction, they leave with a whole bunch of weed or something and they end up high and getting caught behind that. Or they're running from the police and not from some, or at least not just from some abuse situation, but like they committed some crime and they're trying to go on the run. Or they end up jumping off a bridge and dying, and then their body gets found and stuff like that. There's just so many reasons to not partner seek, but that's not even the real issue. The realer issue was somebody's comment that they left under this post, which was someone saying, I met all my friends doing sex work on Bumble and some other app that I can't remember, some other dating app, I think. And so, of course, I had to say something. And this is what always gets me banned on Reddit. Because it's like, when I see posts like this, I just have to say something. It's also part of why I don't like getting on there, because there's just so many agendas pushed on there. And it's like, you can't say anything true or real. And then the other side reasons that I mentioned before, which is that it's obviously an app for white supremacists and child molesters. But anyway, to get back to the point. So, first off, I said, these people are not your friends. Anybody well, basically I was like, these aren't your friends, these are your sexual abusers. And it just really worries me when I see people like this, because the person who made that comment has already left a little while ago. And it really worries me, because it's like, if this is your mindset and this is how cognitive dissonancy and gullible you are to abusers, then what type of people are you going to be around now that you're homeless? That's what really makes me worry. Because it's like, if you're already calling child molesters your friends that were quote-unquote paying you for sex work, then who else are you going to consider your quote-unquote friend? And then, I don't even remember what all I said, but they had responded saying these are some of the best friends I have, and we're not having sex anymore, and they thought I was 18 anyway. And I'm like, first of all, that's what child molesters always say. And realistically, anybody older than like 21 shouldn't really want to be with an 18-year-old anyway. And then the other thing was that any person who thinks a 15-year-old is 18, something's wrong with them. That's the second thing. But I mean, obviously something's wrong with them. They're still a molester. Well, I guess it depends. Some people do look little. It depends on how old they are, for one. That's the real thing. And 9 times out of 10, they're like 40 something plus. So yeah. And it's like, I don't even know what to say. It just really makes me worried. And it's crazy that the moderators would come talk junk to me back when I used to do the whole evidence channel thing, and I would have the evidence channel links as like proof of the different things that were going on back when I was still in my situation those couple years ago, or at least when I was still trying to get free from the cognitive dissonance and stuff. It's crazy that these moderators on this specific sub would come after me, even though most of my posts, of course, wouldn't even be on there, because this is an abuse escape sub, and most of my posts will be on like youth rights and abuse help subs. But like, they don't say anything to people who are saying things like this that are obviously most likely gonna get themselves in some mess, or already have. It's crazy that the mods don't say anything to them. It really doesn't make sense. That's exactly why I started questioning if some of these mods really had the intentions that they claim they do, and if they were really who they claim they are. They just responded too weird to certain stuff, and they didn't respond to stuff that I felt like they should. It just didn't really make sense how they would target certain people. Because like I said, like I said in another video, there was this girl who said that they banned her because she told people not to go with traffickers, and then they banned her another time because she tried to make her own sub where she could like give advice and stuff. And it's a lot of stuff with that, but it's just really weird to me. But yeah, this girl is reminding me of the person who jumped into prostitution 9 days after they left. Although I don't know if this person was already prostituting before they left their abuse situation or not. But people really need to work on the mindset they had before leaving. And I guess I'm one of the lucky ones, because realistically, I was never one of the ones that was so desperate to where I would just jump into the hands of molesters. Honestly, I feel like I was in too many isolating situations for that anyway, but I just was never that type of person. I was never the type of person to do a couple of things that would have, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I wasn't that type of person. That's all I can really say right now. So I guess I'm just lucky, but I just feel like people should really look into their trauma symptoms and work out their mindset before leaving, because you should really have a plan and break down break down as many trauma symptom strongholds as you can before leaving, because you don't want to have a mindset like this and then go into homelessness. You don't want to think that child molesters are your best friends because they thought you were 18, quote unquote, and then jump into homelessness with this mindset and then befriend more child molesters. And then they're only 15 too, so they have a couple years wait till 18. And I really worry about people like this, because it's like, if they don't get themselves caught doing the stuff that they do, they're bound to get themselves in another bad predicament, or just end up stuck. And then get more and more trauma, which means more mental illness. And then eventually have to cope with drugs or something. It just doesn't end well. That's why I hope they'll take heed of some of the comments that I had left. But of course, a lot of the kids with those types of trauma symptoms where they like to go off with messed up people and do things to themselves that will just give them more trauma. Sadly, a lot of kids like that already have this nobody can tell me anything mentality, and this is what makes them end up making more and more terrible things happen in their life, and then they end up with a victim complex. And then when you have a victim complex, you can become a schizonarc, or at least that's what I call it. But yeah, I don't know, I guess it's just me, but like, it's really hard for me to not say something, especially when there's other people that do respond to people that make comments like this girl, and they're either hyping them up or just acting like it's no big deal. Because for one, the whole point of leaving an abuse situation is so you can like get in a predicament where you're not constantly walking on eggshells and constantly at high risk, or at least high known risk all the time. The point of leaving an abuse situation isn't so you can do a whole bunch of risky stuff because you didn't look into your trauma symptoms, or just because you don't really think about what you should and shouldn't do. And it's not to get into situations that put you at risk because you really want some money. Which is kind of why when you're doing the lay low till 18 thing, you shouldn't even be worried about money like that, to be honest. And I know that like some people are gonna feel some type of way because of the fact that you can't really go to resources like that because you're supposed to be 18 plus. But I mean, you could lie and make up a story because, of course, when you're doing the lay low till 18 thing, you're supposed to already have your own alibi lie made up for yourself and who you are and what you're doing. And of course, you can lie and say you're 18. I mean, I do it, and I mean, most people, due to how I look, don't really believe that I'm like, or at least I think I'm like 14, 15 at most, but that depends. But based off of like just looking at me, people are gonna think I'm younger, but it's like, there's a lot of stuff with that. But still, basically my point is, it's possible. Of course you can't go to certain places, but like, you can still make up reasons for why you're at soup kitchens. And that's why I say that you should try to go to an area with enough homeless help services to where you're able to go places to get sleeping bags and tents, which, like I said, tents aren't waterproof, but like, I don't even want to go into that because I already talked about that in other videos. But that, and then soup kitchens where you can get cooked meals and maybe even canned goods and stuff, and also places with public showers. That's what you want to do, because when you're doing the lay low till 18 thing, you should be focused on basic needs. You shouldn't be so desperate to try to like get money for irrelevant things to where you're jumping into prostitution. Or some people just, really the thing is, when people do that, it's because commonly past sexual abuse and different things where they already don't value themselves, and so they go into things like this, and it's like, it's just too risky, especially when you're supposed to be leaving your abuse situation to not be in another abuse situation. And it's like, maybe due to this girl being kind of young and her trauma symptoms, probably maybe more the trauma symptoms than anything else, and just being desperate, it's like the way she's trying to refer to these people as her friends, these people being the molesters and stuff, but then saying there's some situations where she can't get out of having sex with people, which kind of at that point, it's like, did she say yes first and then change her mind once she got in the room with them? Because other than that, that sounds more like some type of hostage trafficking situation, just hostage situation, than just prostituting yourselves. And I know things will happen like that, so kind of it's either hostage where she said yes first and then she changed her mind, which is part of why you should really try to not get into things like that anyway. Because for one, if you're willing to take the risk, well, she did meet these people on like dating apps. Maybe for like, I don't know. Because I was gonna say, if you're willing to take the risk to walk up to people and ask them if they'll pay you for sexting, you should be willing to take the risk to walk up to people to ask them for food or something. Because both of them are risky. Because like, if the person isn't a child molester, then they may call the police for that too, just like if you ask them for food. Although at the end of the day, you could probably try to like get the food and hurry up and run, because there are people that they'll do stuff for you and then try to corner you into the police, and it's like people seem to not really care that there's no system put in place to help and that you're just getting people locked up or put back in the situation they left. But that's kind of a whole nother story. But still, I guess I can't really use that for this situation if she is meeting all these people on dating sites. But I mean, of course, I already did another video of one or possibly two different people who were doing something similar with as soon as they left. Well, at least one of the people. Because like I said in this other video of some girl who's doing prostitution, I wasn't really sure if they were the same people on different accounts or not. But she had just left her abuse situation like 8-9 days ago and had already jumped into prostitution. And that just shows that she really had no plan before leaving. And it seems like people don't understand that you really shouldn't be leaving with no plan. It's like they're just destined to throw themselves into another bad situation because they're not really thinking things through before leaving. Honestly, it makes me wonder how many of these people are just leaving on a whim or limb or whatever it's called, because I can't remember what it's called. But either way, it's like, I mean, they are obviously thought about leaving before like actually leaving, so I kind of feel like, I don't know, people should just try to think things through, especially with the fact that you're on a support group that lets you know that busking and trying to sell are options, because I'm pretty sure that's in the advice directory. And I mean, of course you're not going to make that much money from it, because I mean, honestly, I mean, I'm good at saving money. I could have had more money than I do have if I wouldn't have had to start spending money on like natural herbal stuff and all that to try to treat my gut health due to all the health issues that I've been having for the past 5 years. But that's another story. But it's like, it's not all that, but if I wasn't having to spend my money on that, then I would have a decent amount of money saved up. That's where all my money's been going to. But like, other than that, when you have something that you really want to get in need that like you can't get from a resource center, that's when you be spending money. Other than that, you should really be more focused on laying low. Because to be truthfully honest, due to the fact that the systems are the way they are and they don't really care about people under 18, if this person was to get caught prostituting, or any of the people I've mentioned in other videos, the sad thing is they would go to jail. As terrible as that is. Which, someone mentioned that in this video I was watching, this documentary or something. Basically, this person had made their own little organization because when they were working for some other organization that was supposed to be against sex trafficking, they found out that when kids are caught prostituting, they don't get help for being trafficked. They just go to jail, at least if they're from the U.S. But if the kids are from another country, then supposedly they don't end up being put in jail. But I mean, I doubt that's even really true. But that's what they told some lady that was working for some organization. But yeah, so that kind of just makes things a little more risky for a lot of different reasons. It being prostitution when you're doing the lay low till 18 thing. And it's like, I mean, I really just don't know what else to say about it. I just really worry about a lot of these people because they did no mental preparation. They know nothing about their trauma symptoms. I mean, it may sound like kind of like I'm bragging or something, because I do get that I'm really lucky for kind of always having the ability to think for myself and want to research things. But I kind of feel like if you call yourself wanting to leave your abuse situation and do something better for yourself and get into a better mental and physically safe situation, that you would also like look into your trauma symptoms or just different things like that, or even look into how to correctly do the whole lay low till 18 thing, or at least how to get by being homeless. But it kind of seems like these people are just throwing themselves out there into what they already know, being another abuse situation or another abuse situation that's going to be risky for them. It's like a lot of these people might as well stay home, to be honest. And I'm trying to think of what else to say. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I just feel like some of these people just shouldn't be leaving. And also something else is that, I mean, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I'm really just trying to warn this person, as I do other people, whenever I see somebody posting about the fact that they're putting themselves at risk or they're trying to do the whole quote-unquote partner seeking thing, which is banned anyways, been banned. In fact, you were really never allowed to do this on this support group, or for whatever reason, people still want to do that, and that's something that I used to talk about a lot and warn people about. But of course, my posts would get banned because it just seems like, I don't know. I already mentioned the whole moderator thing. It's really just a lot of weird stuff. But it's like, I get bored and then eventually I get back on the app. But dang, what was I saying? I don't even know, because I don't know if I have enough storage space for all this. Oh yeah, they get defensive. And it's like if you get mad about somebody trying to give you advice or warn you about something, that's kind of another sign that you don't need to be leaving. Because like I said in another video, it's so weird, because it's like, due to how some people are, because they're trauma and stuff, they won't listen to people who are actually trying to help and give them advice, but then they'll purposely, knowingly run off with child molesters and other weird, messed up people because they're trying to go to what they already know and what they're used to. Which is why I say a lot of these people really might as well just stay home. Because I refuse to put myself in another toxic situation. That's why I really try to avoid people, which doesn't work out completely. Because, I mean, it's not even just about people being, like, weird and really risky. It's just, like, I'm just get annoyed too easily with some things about certain people and just a lot of things that people do. And I just can't. I don't know how people do it, to be honest. Just like with the hitchhiking thing. I don't know how these people on here go through all the abuse that they go through at home and know that the people who are supposed to care about them didn't even care about them or take care of them, but then are willing to hitchhike and jump in cars of random people. I don't know how these people do it. I'm not scared of anybody or paranoid or anything, but I mean, I obviously just can't take the risk that a lot of other people take. It just doesn't make sense to me. In fact, I just thought about something. I just had a little flashback of something that the moderators had said, or at least one of them has said, during the whole 2022 situation, where I was only gone for 6 days and then the whole halfway house thing happened. which if I can get the links to that, I'll put it in the description, because I don't have any of those emails on this phone, so I can't really get into those channels, and none of the videos are public. But anyway, to get back to the point, so it's crazy that the moderators, or at least one of them, was trying to tell me that it doesn't seem like I'll be able to leave, even though that was my first attempt. People commonly don't do it right on their first attempt, and honestly, it wasn't even that I left the wrong way. It was just that, like I said a lot of times before, there was the whole situation where I had over $1,000 and I couldn't get any of the money on my card, and then I started getting really depressed and started spending it on food and stuff because I needed to eat, and I didn't think I was going to be able to leave. And so then when things really did get bad and I did have to try to leave, I didn't have any of the money. I mean, I don't even think I spent all of it. I just still wasn't able to get it on the card because apparently it was something I had to do. I think I had to use it a couple times first or something like that. But yeah, that's why things had went left. But it's crazy that the moderators, because they felt whatever type of way towards me because of all the different times I had been on the app and the different posts I had made throughout me being on the app, and how I overshare and how something was wrong with me because I overshare. I mean, of course I was oversharing. I mean, I was trying to break free from all the gaslighting and stuff. But yeah, how are you going to tell me I wouldn't be able to leave, and quote unquote, we tried everything to help you? I don't even know what that was supposed to mean, because a few times that moderator had said anything to me wasn't anything helpful. And of course, there's nothing that they could do to help. Definitely not over the phone. So I don't even know what she was talking about. But yeah, you tell me that, but you don't say anything to these people that are making posts letting it be known they're about to throw themselves into a world of chaos, or they already have. And it's really crazy to me. They never say anything to these people that are on there talking about how they're prostituting and all that stuff. But yet, they say things to certain people who they feel some type of way about. And honestly, I think I know what it is. I think it really just has something to do with the religious traumas of one of the mods, because I noticed the girl that they banned said that she was Orthodox Christian. And then whenever I would say, well, I mean, even if I didn't say anything that was considered spiritual, I don't know, I think it just has something to do with that. But still, it just seemed like there's a lot of things that I don't even know. The moderators are just really weird, and I just feel like they don't say the things that they should say to people that they should say it to. But yeah, I just want to throw that in there because I just had a little flashback, and it was funny because I was like, how was she telling me I wouldn't be able to leave? And it seems like running away. In fact, yeah, that's what she said. It seems like running away isn't working for you, even though I had only tried that one time, because this was back in 2022. And things were kind of bound to go left because I wasn't able to get the money I was trying to get, and I wasn't able. Well, honestly, I'm glad I wasn't able to get on the bus that I was going to get on for a couple of reasons, but it's just weird to me. But yet they don't say anything like that to these other people. Okay, I thought of one last thing to say. Hopefully this won't be long because I really don't think I have enough storage space to edit all this together. But the last thing I thought about is that a lot of people, or at least a lot of these kids and teens, are like romanticizing the whole runaway, freedom, vagabond life. And of course, since you're most likely not going to be able to get enough money, 9 times out of 10, you wouldn't even really be able to become a vagabond when doing the lay low till 18 thing, because you wouldn't even have money to travel that much. Unless you take the risk of hitchhiking, which of course I'm always going to say don't do. But some people do it anyway, and I don't know how in the world they risk it. The only runaways that I see that are really able to like do the vagabond thing when they aren't like doing the really, really risky hitchhiking thing are the ones that already have passports and visas because their families go on trips sometimes for whatever reason. Because, like, I mean, there were some people that went to Spain, or the ones that sneak across the border in the other countries. But, like, other than that, you're really probably not even going to get to be a vagabond. And then another thing is abused kids thinking that that running away is gonna be the end all be all. Once they leave, everything is gonna be great. And that kind of depends. For one, depending on what all you've been through, which hopefully it would be enough, because you really shouldn't be leaving if your situation isn't bad enough, to be truthfully honest. But depending on what all you've been through and your trauma symptoms you have, you may not even be able to, well, I mean, you really can't shake off trauma anyway, but you may not be able to shake off as many of the issues you've developed as you think you will. So you may think that, like, once you get out of your situation, you're not going to be depressed anymore, but actually it's going to be worse, because you're going to have to accept the fact that you don't have anybody, and if you don't do that, then you're going to be running behind child molesters and stuff. But yeah. And I mean, assuming you don't have anybody, because if you don't have anybody else you can go stay with, and you're running away because running away should be a last resort, then I'm assuming you don't have anybody. Or at least they may just be someone that doesn't want to, like, take the risk of being charged with kidnapping or something, which that makes sense too. But I would assume you still be able to talk to them sometimes. So, assuming you don't have anybody, you're going to have to accept not having anybody. And you're also going to have to, like, deal with when the weather is bad, or when you're cold, or when you're too hot, and all that stuff. And that's still something that's to be depressed about, which means that your depression could get worse, or it just stays the same. And there's a lot of other things I can say, but it's like, you're trying to leave the abuse situation, but you also have to know that, like, you can't run from yourself and your own issues. So if you think you can do that, you're gonna be like some quote-unquote vagabond people with the vagabond spirit, and you're gonna be like constantly running from yourself, and it's just not gonna end well, and you're gonna, like, be in a really bad predicament, basically, to make a long story short. It's good to, like, get out of a situation if it's bad enough, but you really shouldn't romanticize it and act like leaving is gonna be the best thing ever, and it's gonna be like happy-go-lucky, walking through valleys and all of that. In fact, I have a good example. So there was this girl, she turned 18 like a year ago. She turned 18 a year ago. She's still vagabond and pretty much, like, not really doing good with dealing with her trauma, and she's kind of, like, running around the place. I still don't even think she got her vital records, because I tried to get her to stay put here where I am long enough to get into some resource center program that would at least help her get her vital records somehow. And she wouldn't even do that because she was so eager to leave, because, quote unquote, I don't stay anywhere longer than 3 days, because if I do, I get too depressed. And so she would make posts when she was under 18 still about how she was singing, and she could hear the owls at night and coyotes and campfires, and sing with the people that she left with, which one of them ended up going in jail, and I guess whatever happened with the other person, they broke up. And so somebody had responded to that post, and they were like, oh, this is the life I want, with no worries and something, 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 something. You really can't not have any worries, or at least, well, I won't even say that. You can't act like things are just going to be great, because, I mean, really, things in life are never going to be like completely great and A-okay, to be truthfully honest. Or at least, I mean, maybe you can, I don't know what to say about that, but they're not going to be, definitely not in this situation of being homeless with nobody. So, oh yeah, then the other thing is that the girl who made the post, I mean, she may have been feeling okay in that moment, but realistically, she's not really doing that well deep down on the inside. And, like, it's a good skill to know, but, like, she's been surviving off of foraging. And that kind of, it's like, what if you're in an area that just so happens to not really have any edible plants, especially once you can get enough calories out of, then what? So, yeah, too many people romanticize it, and then they end up leaving, and then it's not what they thought it was going to be. And because they thought it was going to be something it wasn't, which they should have planned anyway and did research, but they didn't, they end up having to hop into things like this girl. And I'm not saying this is her exact situation because I don't really know, but I just know that you shouldn't, if you're going to jump into more abuse, you might as well not leave the first situation, basically.